to find my task review for one of you.
Okay. Do you want to?
I can't see anybody right now. Wow.
Who wants to start? Doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter to me either.
We're so agreeable here.
I know we're just too agreeable, but I'll start. How about that? I can't see anyone, so I'm not sure. They're just going to hear my voice, you guys. I don't know where the picture.
Yeah, we can see you. You're fine.
Oh, okay. I'm going like, wow, it went away. So how can you see me? Okay. Marshall, peer review feedback for Megan for AAPSL Task 2.
Take one, go.
Okay, well, I'm just going to go down the peer review template, if that's okay, and
sure.
just kind of brainstorm about what I saw. I thought your AAPSL 2 was, what I wrote was the content, the external resources demonstrate your support for doing what you were actually doing for your need. For the rubric strength, I thought you had some great data and it was strong and supported your data. The only piece that I saw was the handwritten piece, and I'm not sure if that would be a part that you would look into trying to redo for the final task submission. Rubric strength for the pressing need. I thought it was well demonstrated. You addressed the need as well. The team seemed to have been on board. Didn't see, like I said, I didn't see too many weaknesses other than the ones that I talked about in the paper.
Okay.
Since it was stressed so hard, it was stressed so hard by my clinical coach, to put it that way. When he came to us, is please don't turn in anything that was.
What part was that again now?
My clinical coach stressed to me when he came on site, don't turn in any work that was handwritten. It looks more professional to have it typed.
That was supposed to be with the artifact section, was it not? So they don't want handwritten artifacts. So I need to go back and retype that. He believed too. You think that's a good idea?
Yeah, and
you know what I would do? Sorry, go ahead.
I saw one other. I don't know if it was just my computer, but I saw a black space. I didn't know what was supposed to go into that black space. I didn't see a picture.
I think it was. Are you talking about
that
what
was
the writing section was of it for her, or?
Yeah, that was with the artifacts. That stuff that you're talking about, and it might have been a screenshot too from a text message that I sent to one of the people in the group. And the reason why I blacked it out was because the rest of the message was, I mean, it was school related, but it wasn't pertaining to the PLC. It was, her asking questions pertaining to my tech coach job. It wasn't pertaining to that. Nobody wanted to read about Chromebook stuff. So.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what the black.
No. I need to clarify that. That's what that means. Then that I need to clarify what exactly that was. Okay.
Other than that, I just said your leadership demonstrated you very well as the candidate. It's obvious that you are English instructor or professor, as I might want to call you, or a teacher. I know, but you can see that strong part of it there. Formal language, sentence structure, all of that appeared to have been identified. We all slip up on those acronyms, so I didn't see very many errors APA style in this one. Organization, structured, organized, professional written headings. I'm still dealing with mine as well. In text citations, graphs seem to be properly cited. I have to work as well. That's my mind. So I guess that's what we're supposed to say. I'm not sure, but okay.
Yeah, I think you did a good job.
Okay.
Thank you for that feedback. I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly. And I'll clarify that. Let me make a point on that in that artifact section to clarify what exactly that was and what it was.
Well, and what I might do is type it like she said, and then keep them both, because then if they say, well, no, we like the handwritten, because it shows that you really did it.
Okay.
Got them both. But I agree that from a style, it probably just need to be typed.
Okay.
Let's see. What I saw, and this is, I think, one of the things that I saw, Megan, that I saw in the task 1, 2 was, as far as the formal language goes, a lot of times it looked, because I think you're an English teacher, that you wrote what I call prepositional phrases sometimes, or things which extends. I was trying to think of sections where I saw it. The candidate was able to review the findings, and like I might have said, the candidate reviewed the findings, like being direct from the form sections. So that was one of the things I could think overall that I kept running into with it, because for me, when I was reading the difference, and I hate to compare you two, but I think that we do that all the time. But when I felt that Marshall has done more APA writing, like I have, because I have an APA psychological background, and I could see the formalized writing when she's writing. And then when I'm reading yours, I can see I called it colloquialisms, I think, where there's a lot more of your easing up to what you're trying to say, and, hedging it a little bit with before the fact that we did such, that kind of thing. And I would just say, a lot of times when I looked at it, I was thinking, well, just get straight to the point. Say exactly what you mean. It doesn't matter if it's only 4 sentences, because it's much more communicative and direct in a formal manner than the other thing, than kind of some of the other stuff that I was talking about.
Okay.
I thought the content was great. One of the things I really liked about it was how you used the comparison from the large group to the smaller group of your PLC, and that you knew some of the data was presented at a large area, and then you were bringing your PLC together to more focus on the data that you guys were talking about. One section you even said you weren't going to talk about something that they already talked about in that other meeting, and I thought that was really good. Like that showed to me that you were able to see and not bore them and tell them, this is what, we're going to rehash, blah, blah, blah. And it looked more like you went straight to the point and said, I know you all saw that over here. Let's talk more specifically about this part right here. I thought that was really, really good.
Okay.
I saw, let's see, where is it? Oh, when you helped your model go through the SAMR model, that you had a lot of leadership. I saw with that. I thought under the leadership section that was really, really good. That you made sharp decisions to focus the definitions of what you were looking at, and then you helped them pass through that SAMR model. So I really like that. Oh, sorry, I'm yawning.
It's okay.
It's okay. I understand. Trust me.
The artifacts I thought were really good. The thing, the APA, I agree with her that your APA style was on point. I didn't see any errors at all with it, and I think it was really, really good.
Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm writing it down and I'm looking as you all are talking. So yeah, definitely. Okay. I have nothing negative to add. I will say that I will consider with the language. I'll consider. I'm not going to promise, because when you read test 3, it's probably going to be lengthy. I'll be honest. Just because I don't know, it might be the English teacher in me. I don't know. I think in our minds, if it's short, it's not descriptive enough. Us as English teachers, we're very descriptive. So I'm sorry. I'll work on it. I'll try really hard. But if it's too short, I'm like, okay, I missed something. I didn't say enough. Because when we talk about test 3 in a little bit, we'll get there. But if y'all are ready for me to go ahead, I'll go ahead. Anything else y'all need to add about test 2 before we jump into someone else?
No.
No? Okay. Let me make this document a little bigger.
Are we going to talk to Ms. Franklin now, or are we?
Yeah, that's fine.
Let me find my test too.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, pull up your test too. Like I was saying, I thought you did a really good job with how, I know that you're struggling at your school.
Are you kidding? Wow.
I think I don't know if I put it in here. I think I said something. I know that I thought it. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I tried not to say it. I was trying to like say it, but not say it. If that made any sense.
I know that I thought you did a really, really good job skating the political lines that I know that you've got to be struggling with what you've said before. Like, I thought you did a really, really good job with saying that this is what the school is asking me to target for, and so I'm going to use that in the best way that I can to make what I do for this policy. So I thought that was really good. Yeah, I said decisions to proceed using individualized data is influenced by your principal's mission for the school. It was clear that you were following what he'd asked you to do.
She, by the way.
Oh, she. I'm sorry, but she.
That's okay.
That's my mistake.
That's okay.
Strength. The data was presented with good figures used to still illustrate what your PLC's team's conclusions were. I thought that was really good too. Weakness. Oh, that was one of the things I was thinking when I read the data collection strategies. I was thinking, and this, you guys tell me whether I'm wrong. I was thinking that's an area where we're like doing a science project and we're telling how we did the science project. And when I read yours, I was thinking more that you really kind of threw the data at me rather than me really knowing where you got it from and how you got it. So like, explain to me more like, a child comes into our school and in the beginning days or so ever, we do this type of assessment and these are the individual data points that we have. And so I collected those data points from these 3 sources. That kind of would help. That's what I thought in that section was kind of missing for me, because I didn't know. I wrote, where did you get it from? Why did you use those data points? Why were they selected? Just explaining how you collected that, which is, to me, I was thinking is the collecting strategies part.
Okay, because and what I was going to do when I refined this was to actually try to go back in and put in that we get that from Read Theory program itself. We put them on an assessment. We actually start them, tell it to do an assessment, complete an assessment on the student, and then we let it go from there. The program just proceeds from there, and the prior classroom strategies that we use where we review and do some skimming and scanning, just like paragraph and reading. It's just some in classroom, but the Read program, its theory program itself, does all of it for you. So I don't have access to, well, I take that back. There is some access to, see, we're a school where they come from a different base school. So we can go back and look at if they're on Read Theory, the other school, which 9 times out of 10 they are. We can go back and access data from the prior Read Theory program that they were working on while they were there. But that's basically it.
So, I mean, I would just explain that. Like you
I'll do my best. Okay. Yeah, I will.
And then,
go ahead. This phone is lagging.
See if there's anything else.
I'm trying to get this computer working too.
I mean, I'm just going to finish up with, because I saw no APA problems, whatever. I think that your formalized writing is really, really good. I could tell you've got that psych background. The way that you write and the way that you do the sections are just like what you see in the APA style. So I think that's just, we're going to have to help Ms. Boyd to understand how that looks different. Well, give me that look.
I don't know. I'm not trying to gloat or anything, but I made a mistake on this assignment, so it's all right. It's okay.
Look, I could use Ms. Boyd's grammatical corrections.
That's true.
He was okay with it, but I will work on it because I know y'all are right. But I was okay. This time, next time I might not have 100. But this time he was okay with my fancy writing. Doggone it, y'all people picking on us. Picking on us liberals. Oh wait a minute, I turned the camera on.
But there was, if I could say this, there was 2 pieces in there that I was so ill. I'm being honest. I know we're recording, but this is still professional. That I could not remember for the life of me how to do it APA style, and I was too ill to actually go look it up. I said, I can't do any more. It's 9:58. I have to turn this in now. And I said, okay, I'm going to let it roll, because I knew when I did the citation with over 40 words, I said, I know this. I just can't be right, but I can't remember what to do. Didn't have time to Google. And the 2 other citations were like, okay, let it roll, Marsha. So I have to change them, because I knew something wasn't quite right. That APA didn't keep that background, I couldn't remember. And I was correct. It was not accurate.
All right, David, did you have anything else to add?
No.
All right, so if we're looking at the rubric here, definitely I think your task was aligned with the course content, and like we said, considering the circumstances for which you're working, I really do think that you did a good job. You did the best you could with what you had, so to speak. So, knowing the background behind it, definitely, I took that into consideration when I was reading your task. But I think your knowing did inform your doing, which was that really, big, important key question when we're thinking about task 2. I think you're well informed, the information that you have and the PLC that you're working, with, it makes sense. And that's very clear. So there's no question about that. I think now, looking at some of the strengths, when we're talking about read theory, I think that's a very good idea that's what you chose to focus on, especially since you said the children are coming in and out. Now, in terms of the data, I think it's a good idea if you were to take the data that you get from read theory with actually, the levels that the kids start on, that baseline data, and use that for one of the charts, not necessarily saying, each student name, but saying student A, student B, student C, since you're really not looking at the EVA, as y'all use in North Carolina, you know what I mean? Since you're not going to be able to pull all of that data, use what you have and create your data, so to speak, in a sense.
So you're asking me, well, read theory, they chart it, they graph it, they do all of that for me.
Take it and use it.
Well, I didn't have time.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
To scan it all in. So thank you, because I was like, okay, I'm just gonna I have it. I just need to get it scanned in, because we haven't met the team. They've avoided. Well, we've had difficulty meeting.
Yeah,
that way. Yeah. So we're going to try to meet again Wednesday morning, so we can finish discussing that part of the data and move forward.
Absolutely.
But thank you. I was going to pull everything read theory kicks out for me.
I definitely would include that. I think for your collaborative data, I thought it was really good that you are using, what is this here? The 2019 SIT. I think that's very good that you're using that too as a part of your data, because again, I think that speaks to the leadership, because not only are you looking at specifically those kids or those teachers, but you're looking at the ideas of the whole school in general. So I think that's a good idea. I thought that was really, really clever how you included that information as well. And then the last thing that I thought that was a really good step, I think you did a really good idea with having such a unique population and working in such a unique place, really identifying that most pressing need and really utilizing it for this PLC. I think you really did a good job of highlighting that. So I think that was good as well. Like I said, if we're talking about weaknesses, let's see. Yeah, like I said, with the data collection, it was one point where you talked about some of the math data. And here I am being the liberal where y'all say I write too much. I might consider taking out the math data.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay,
just because your PLC is focused exclusively on reading, I don't see the need to talk about math. Unless you're going to add something in there about how the math and the reading correlated together. Now, if you're going to go down that road, then leave it. But if you're not going to go that route, I would take it out.
Speaking quite frankly, I don't think I am. That'll be putting more on me that I want to deal with. I was wondering that when I put that in. I said, you know what, I'm going to have to say something about this math. So, okay.
Yeah,
take it out.
I would take it out. And then here I go again, being deliberate. Where you talking about the most pressing need, although you do a clear job of identifying what it is, I would expand on it a little bit. I would talk about how this data, or how the data that you do find, how it's going to support this need or correcting this need. I would expand on it just a little bit. I was wanting a little more, so to speak.
And I'm still struggling with that because that's why when we meet, I hope tomorrow morning.
Yeah, definitely.
With our students coming from base schools, that really it is they are the targeted schools who's supposed to be able to really show improvement for that student, district-wise. But because we're in an alternative setting, I believe last year rather, and going into this year, the new principal has a new charge, and that charge has been to show some academic growth while the students are there. Because in the past years, all the way back from when I was looking at SITs I sat in on some when I was there for in the past 5 years, but just looking back, I'm going like, wow, they're all behaviorally focused. They spend so much on dealing with behavior where it didn't really show any academic growth, and there were a lot of discipline issues where kids were actually suspended from the alternative setting. So I said, she's got a great task, and I hate to say it this way because if she doesn't show growth, or this particular school doesn't show growth, I'm not sure what will happen to this alternative setting. I can't say it will go away per se, because it really was developed because of a lawsuit. And I don't know if I should say that or not, but I can, I think, but I won't say which lawsuit, but there was an EC population that was not served. So I'm saying all this to say, I'm trying to figure out how I'm actually going to put that in there, because it's just brand new for us. It's nothing in the past from what I could see and looking to show that we actually can help them read, other than they've increased for that little short amount of time that they're there, anywhere from 1 month to 3 months, 1 day to 10 days, or 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So they did show an increase in reading. So some of the strategies that we probably have started this year, helping the students within the classroom, maybe doing some good. Now, whether they take that back to their base school and show an improvement, that's yet to be seen. That make any sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask tomorrow in the team meeting how to even do that, because it's nothing in the past to say that it was an improvement. The scores are showing improvement, but behaviors are hindering still.
But I think that's admirable. I mean, given the fact that you're in an alternative school that's focused on changing behavior, and kids are put there because of their behavior, and the whole focus of the school is maintaining and controlling their behavior to get them back. I think it's admirable for you to do this project based on, can we get them to improve their reading in the time that we have them here? That's a short time. Because we know kids who are behavioral often act out because of maybe problems with academics in certain areas. So
they improve it. Yeah, absolutely.
I will. I'm going to do my best to try to write this one up. I'm going to have to really need some support from my team with this one as well.
Yeah, that, like I said, and then I touched all that already about the data. Once you get the read theory charts and you have time, I definitely think that's going to be one of your high points once you include that as well. Let's see. So yeah, overall, I think your narrative is well written. I would do some editing for some subject verb agreement things. Passive and active voice, I would edit for that as well. Make sure we're using the same tone throughout the whole paper.
And that is one of my weaknesses. It always has been. And I'm being honest. I go all the way back
All the way back.
Oh, this is like, Marsha, you just can't get rid of this one now. You just got to stop doing this.
Yeah,
So
we're all learning, our weaknesses. David, you're next.
No, I know.
I'm wordy. She struggles with subject verb.
So that's why I give my paper to some English majors. So can you help me correct this, please? But I'm going to have to find me some help, the writing center or something, because I'll do it in every time. But okay.
No, if you read it out, when I'm editing, I have to read out loud. Like I have to get in a quiet space and I have to read out loud. If I read it out loud to myself,
okay, then
I catch a lot of things. I don't catch it when I read, read silently. But if I read out loud, I catch everything.
Thank you. I'll try that.
One of the things I do too is that you can highlight at least in my Word document stuff, I can highlight a section and then click read, and I know it's a computer voice, but it'll read it to me. So a lot of times I do, like you said, you read it out loud so you hear yourself saying it, but I hear the computer say it to me as I'm reading it to see if it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, let me ask a question, and maybe this is appropriate to have in here as well, but I have this new fancy program that you type up. It says 6th edition APA style. If I put the paper in that program, it's supposed to correct all my errors.
That's perfect.
So I'm actually going to try that. I'm almost afraid to
see.
I'm afraid to, but I'm going to put this paper.
Now, as a former English teacher, I want to
okay.
These things are not always correct.
I know. See, that's what I'm afraid of, but I'm actually going to.
Oh, it's not going to catch it out. Trust me. It's not. 99.9%.
Are you serious?
Yes, but your brain, the computer cannot emulate your brain as close.
But you're right, because it changed DUFOR to DUFOR. It changed the correct word that I had the first time. I'm going like, you can catch it. But okay, I'm going to try it just to see what it looks like. Okay, but thank you.
And then the last thing that I was going to say, something that I got dinged on was acronyms. Make sure you spell those out the first time that you use them. I got dinged on that myself. But yeah, like I said, it was your narrative. It was structured logically. It was one thing. You had 2 sections on concluding with the agreement and the collaborative meeting section. I would consider putting those 2 sections side by side, or one, before the other, versus having that other section in between them, because it just made more sense for me to read about the concluded agreement than the collaborative meeting. I wanted to read those 2. When I was rereading the paper, it made more sense for me to read those 2 next to each other versus whatever that was in between them. Or you might even want to consider combining those 2 paragraphs and making them one. I mean, what do you think, David?
I agree. I was looking at the same thing as far as the fluency of the overall thing. I think that would be something that I don't know if I mentioned moving, but I know that there was a way that it didn't flow from one section to the next. I remember
just there. It was just in that one spot.
That one spot. I have the data in between it. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I was cutting, pasting out, getting rid of stuff, trying to finalize it, and I see what you mean. I kept it, and I was struggling where to put the prompt to that was on our format. And I'm gonna. This don't need to be in the middle. I see. That's what I did. I see what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, just simply moving them, or even like I said, or even combining them to one paragraph. Because again, I'm wordy, so I want long paragraphs. So, I would pick a long paragraph. But yeah, that's what I would consider. And then the last thing, that quote that you had, it's a good quote. I would expand on it just a little bit.
What quote? What is that?
What is it? It's by Sanger from.
Sager. Sager. The big. Okay, I got you.
I just wanted you to expand on that a little bit, because the quote was there. It was a good quote, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't quite understand what it was going with. So
I had a note next to mine that said, "Unsure what you even meant here." Like I didn't know how it flowed into them.
Yeah. So you can expand on it, or you can put it, figure out where it would flow best with something else. I don't think you need to take it out. I just would move it. That's the only thing I would do. But like I said, overall, it was good, considering all what you had going on with your sickness and then all of that. I don't think you did bad at all. David, I know we're going to run out of time with you. Are we going to do another one? Are we going to do another Zoom?
We can if you want to, or you can grill me in 6 minutes, or if we need to.
I think we need to do another one just so we can finish. You know, that wouldn't be right if we only gave you 6 minutes.
I know, that's not fair.
That's not fair. So
that's fine. So let's pause this or stop this one, and then I will go back and then re-invite us to one at like 9:40, and then we should be able to go again.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, all right.
All right, I'll stop and then go out and come back in. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.